anybody actually know what the real figure is in the last 5 years, which is actually fraudulent as far as claims are concerned? Is it 20%? No. Is it 10%? No. Is it 5%? No. Is it even 1%? No. The actual answer is 0.7%. You compare that fraud to the fraud of the banks, the fraud of the MPs, the fraud of the big business corporations, and then we get an idea of what really is going on in society. And our next speaker can take up some of these points. Can we all welcome please to Phil Jones from the RMT Union. Phil.
Comrades, let me start by bringing you solidarity greetings from the RMT. In this bitter and unjust fight against corrupt and an unjust coalition government, please be assured that my union supports you and stands shoulder to shoulder with you for as long as the fight continues. Brothers and sisters, we are here today to fight against an unfair and unjust actions that a coalition government has employed against ordinary vulnerable people who are being systematically scaremongered and bullied and told that they could lose their benefits. There is an elitist group in power who have not and will not walk or live a day in your shoes. They do not have to make the decisions that are forced on you on a daily basis. They do not have to make the choices that you or I do. Do we feed ourselves or do we go hungry to pay for our children's school trip, for example? Ordinary vulnerable people are being used as scapegoats for a crisis that was caused by the rich. You have been demonised and lied about. Their lies are intended to set ordinary people against ordinary people. This smokescreen for the fat cats in power and the multinational corporations have engineered that is to detract from the fact that they're not paying taxes back into the system. And in the case of some, they are taking huge amounts out of the system in bailouts. This is a government that looks after the criminal elitists on a large scale, like private schoolboys club. While some people are claiming benefits are unemployed due to the lack of jobs or because they are unable to work, many people are claiming benefits are in work but are on low-paid salaries. So the benefits, tax credits, top up the earnings as the cost of living increases. Yet the benefits do not match the inflation or the costs of living. The answer to this is to make not just financial sense, but common sense, to pay the workers a decent living wage, not slave wage. Others are students who are trying to pursue an education, single parents trying their hardest to raise children in a society that has become more than ever a class system. People who have been laid off due to recession are unable to find work. People who need with medical conditions who want to work but are unable. These vulnerable people have been demonised by this elitist group who are far from the other end of society. The end of society which knows nothing of our struggles and which cares even less about them. I have a personal connection with this attack due to my father, who's been registered with disabilities due to ill health. He's been diagnosed with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, angina, diabetes, osteoarthritis in the legs, knees and spine. This complication due to the diabetes. But the DWP only awarded him 9 points due to the advice of an assessment carried out by a physiotherapist who was working on behalf of the DWP. So even though my father is ill and unfit to work, he is to attend interviews, otherwise he may lose his benefits. This is a sure attack on the vulnerability of people who are registered disabled. My father is not alone. There are hundreds of thousands like him who have worked all their lives, paid into the state all of their lives through taxes and national insurance, and who now see no return on their own investment into a state at the time of the greatest need, when ill. When bankers sit in their penthouse suites, sipping champagne on the back of billions and state bailouts, how can this be fair? Yet there are MPs and lords who are paid handsomely for their duties, yet still seem fit to claim for everything, including Sky TV bills, cars, houses, holidays, all at your expense. And I'm sure that the handouts our peers have claimed match the inflation and the cost of living. There's not enough for everyone's need, but everyone's greed. There's a class system in place and we are working class. We are the scapegoats of the upper class. We provide labour in the good times. We pay their debts in the bad times. This is a fundamental fact since the Victorian era. But can we eradicate the class system if we pull together and stand united against the oppressors? We need to fight back. Say no more. We will not accept the injustices anymore.